Hey people, after I posted that last movie, I watched it and I saw I missed a couple of things. So I'm going to show you how I get liberty out of this word here. But I'm going to start up here and show you what I had missed. And the reason they spelled this bis like this, and the rats in bis in twice share. And it's because this iota script, having you read this backwards, they didn't want a B here on the way back, so they separated this word like this. Well, the rats in bis in twice share. Ruts see, R-U-T-S, ruts see. If you keep on driving over the same spot, you're going to make a rut. And the ruts see the phone and on legion, the command. And then appeasing the peas in, or the peas in appeasing, appease, to make happy. And the peas in is, Pisa, Italy. And the Babylon, the Bevelon. And so, every name has a meaning. So there's a meaning to Babylon. And we can see it in the Hebrew, in 11, the Tower of Babylon. And upon thus it is called its name Babel, for there, confused, bell, in bind tongue, B-N-L-L, bind tongue. The L, the lamed, the shepherd's staff, to bind, to direct, and the tongue. And that's what it is, if you pull your whole tongue out, that's about what it looks like. It says to bind the tongue. That means to bind the language. And it's the only time this word's used. This one time. But if we look over here at Babel, the base word is a proper name location. And it's perhaps from Baal. The word origin, B-L-L, Balal. And if you've been watching my stuff, you know that the most confused language in that whole area is the Greek. It's the only place in the world where nay means yes, and everybody else in the area says nay means no. But we don't know that it was the Greek, because it was Italy that gave us that translation. The peas in appeasing, the Bevelon, B-A-V, Bevelon. And that's the only place in the world where you can find a tower today that has a bevel on it. They say if they were sinking here, and so they started beveling all these layers so it didn't lean as bad, until this lady came and straightened it back up. But yeah, that appears to be the Tower of Bevelon right here. Appeasing the peas in Bevelon, come the gale, and again to cat who catch theory on, die money on, and few lacpantos, pneumatos from the airable, from breathable air, looks like, to a cater to, and few lacpantos, panable, edible, the orn of a cater to. And then this doesn't get read. And to the maymays come in of, having been hated, the maymays, from the mice men of, from imise men of, the maymays come in of, having been hated. The hotel Tau, to the direction. The hotel to the Tau. Who now to thy move those pornias. And this is hotel, and we can see it, the hoti, hottie, hot, hottie, and word origin from the hostis. And the EK is the L of L, the hotel. Hotel coming from hostel, hospitable. The hotel Tao, the way. Ho now, the way to move. And so this to, THU, this is thu, and this means like if you're addressing a package where it's going to, that kind of to. And it's also thu as in a cave or a tunnel through a mountain. And it's also a thu as in the vagina, where you come out of, you come through when you're born. That word all ties together. It's that kind of two. To move those, the porneas. And then this is offs. And and a painter paints, and an author offs. These are writings. The pornea offs, the creator of the porn. And the peppercan. This is where your word Pepsi come from. The peppercan. And it's, pep drinks. Monster. And that one that ain't no good unless you mix it with Jägermeister. Red Bull. The peppercan. The peppercan panta to Ethan, to the nations. And so this panta, the same as other panable, this is panta, and this is the ancient word for the food stamp office, the panta. The Panera Bread Company. It wasn't always called Panera. It was just the bread company. But Panera is a word that has its root meaning bread basket in Latin. Pan is a word for bread all around the med. And the bread pan is an ancient word for feed my sheep. It's where you went and got your bread if you were poor. And the panter is a surname derived from the Middle English Old French word, the paniteur. It was an occupational name from the office of the master baker. In the court of France, the panter was the officer of high consideration in the monasteries, and he was in charge of distribution of the bread to the poor. The panter. The peppercan panta to the nation. But a panter is also someone who pants. That's what's going on when you're making the porn. They don't do a whole lot of talking, just a lot of heavy breathing. And this is ahoy. And this means beware. Ahoy, beware there. Watch out, there's a reef up ahead. Ahoy. An ahoy vessel is. Vessel is something to be filled. A vessel, a ship, a container. Ahoy, the vessel is those goes with offs, with the writings of the pornos on. Beware of the peppercan, the free peppercan, the pantatu, the nations. Beware of the vessel is those goes with the writings of the pornos on. Ahoy, emperor. This is the king. A roy is a king, and an emperor is a king. Emperor is an unchecked ruler. An emperor, the emperor king. Those goes of this, of those, the dynamos. The dynamos, the way of strenuous writes the pollution. Beware of the emperor, those goes of those dynamos, your power sources. The way to strenuous writes the pollution. The more power you're getting out of your truck, the more pollution you're putting out. The more fuel you're dumping in, the more the pollution. Those power to strain offs, creates the pollution. That's the word for creator, because everything was created with the word, or what written word, to create the pollution. And accuse all on phoning of two, of the way, the hour on of, Lego use on. A Lego is something that fits in, it snaps together, and it's usually a reply to a question asked, to something already said, the Lego using. But it's also builders, the Lego using. They're stacking all them Lego blocks up. And accuse all in phoning of to the hour on of Lego using. And exalt it. Exalt is to raise up. And eight is the one that raised it up. The exalted is the one that raised it up. See Laos, to see the people. Laos Tzu was the writer of the Art of War, and it meant the people's Tzu command. And exalted, the one who raised up to see the people move. It creates in name. Cinco in on has it. The Cinco in on has it. That's liberty. To raise it up, see the people move. It creates in name of liberty. And so the way you get that liberty out of there, that's the Cinco. Or the sun coin. The Cinco. Every language around there, Spanish, Italian, French, Latin, they all say the five is the Cinco. 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 The Cinc coin, Koin, the Cinc coin. The nickel, on, has, and chit. Chit is like paper money, a chit. But it was talking above up here about the die money on. A die is a through or a punch. You punch money as coins. And if you Google nickel, you'll see it's always got the liberty on it. It's always got this liberty somewhere. Even back when it was the old Indian head nickel, it was liberty. And before that, it was the Liberty head. The Liberty head nickel. It's hard to see it, but there used to be a liberty written across here. They were putting liberty on coins 2,000 years ago. So liberty is the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority, the author, on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. But liberty is freedom. It just means that you're a freed slave. You're still not a first-class citizen. Liber was the free one, also known as Liber Pater, was god of verticulture, wine growing, and wine fertility and freedom, patron deity of Rome's plebeians. His festival of Liberalia became associated with free speech and rights attached to the coming of his age. His cult and functions were increasingly associated with the Romanized form Dionysius Bacchus. It had all the same attributes plus insanity, ritual madness, religious ecstasy, festivity, and theater in the ancient Greek religion and myth. You may have fellowship. So liberty actually means, the freedom to get drunk, smoke weed, and have orgies. You may have fellowship. The cincoin on has chit. And people in the know that cinco means the sun coin. The hobos knew it. The Indians knew it. And Gallus knew it 1,800 years ago. Liberty is represented in two ways on the coins. The one is a woman with a naked head, which is the image of the Roman liberty, and the other having her head covered with a veil and adorned with a diadem. And the ancient Roman goddess Libertas was honored during the Second Punic War by a temple erected on the Aventine Hill. That's one of the two hills they were discussing putting the Vatican on. In Rome by the father of Tiberius Gracchus. A statue in her honor was also raised by Collatus on the site of Marcus Tullius Cicero house after it had been raised. The figure also resembles Sol Invictus, the Roman god of the sun, the invincible sun, the sun coin, Cinco, that you may have fellowship in the sins of her. The sun coin on has chit, to is amartius, offs, creates, will tone, will ton, will fashion, plague on, and creates in name, labit, you might receive. It's in the category with all those labs that mean, to lab the stars. From the verb labano, to lay hold of, take or receive. But this lambano looks suspiciously a lot like the lambada, the forbidden dance, to beat it. The forbidden dance, ascribed to the lambada. In name, labati, the body. To accuse all on phonin of tau, the way, hour on of. Ledge house on, the ledge who's on. Exult O Laos, O people, move its authors, its writers, its create. In name of the sun coin on has chit. To is a merity ages. To is a marti ages. Auths will fashion plague on, creates in name the body. So they use this offs and off all the way through here. And hopefully by the time I'm finished with this chapter, I'll have it nailed down. But I'm going to try to get down to the end of this poem on this next one and to figure out, who's getting fired over here, because it's Kada, according to the coat has, according to the coat you're wearing, to age. And they certainly got this misery and famine mixed up, because this is like it says to the penthouse and limos. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. A good day.